Hello, everyone. Welcome to VUA's Admission Open House. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Vani Mulla, and I'm currently a freshman at VUA. Before coming to Boston University Academy, I went to Jonas Clark Middle School in Lexington. I'm currently a part of Drama Club and BioBuilders at BUA, along with being a member of Student Council events, policy, and SASA. Outside of BUA, I'm a martial artist and theater enthusiast. From the supportive staff to engaging class discussions, BUA is filled with kind and curious kids who love coming back every day to learn. Participation has always been a struggle for me, and I've always been one of those students who'd wait anxiously and hope the teacher wouldn't call on them. However, at BUA, classrooms feel like a safe and encouraging environment to share your ideas due to the various passionate discussions and the idea that all thoughts are equally important. Now, I participate willingly, without always needing the extra push from my teachers. Along with the challenging and intriguing classes, the BUA community has been so welcoming already. As you all may already know, during the first week of school, the freshmen and sophomores go to Camp Burgess. This trip includes all fun camp activities, including a waterfront and ziplining. Sounds like fun, huh? This allowed me to connect with not only kids in my grade, but with the sophomores as well. The little moments like holding on to one another while falling on the water trampoline, or dancing the Cotton Eye Joe with friends at the talent show campfire, help make lasting connections and build stronger bonds between peers. Additionally, the summer courses in the beginning of the year helped students get used to their commute and meet new people and teachers. BUA has done a great job helping students adjust to their daily lives, and to all our future BUAers, I hope you feel the same as I do. However, I didn't always think BUA was right for me, and I was absolutely terrified to leave all my friends behind and start fresh at a new school. But the more and more I showed up, the more I could fear my fears lessen. I became excited to attend this school the next day. That being said, BUA definitely has its fair share of work, and it is not easy, but the feeling of coming prepared to class with peers who are as engaged as you makes it feel worth it. This school provides so many different support systems one can rely on, and your teachers care about your well being. Even in my classes currently, my teachers make sure to check in about stress levels about upcoming tests and how long homework assignments have taken us. Additionally, at BUA, there's something for everyone. From academic clubs like Bio Builders, Science Club, Math Club, and Debate Club to creative outlets such as Drama Club, Knitting Club, and so many more. BUA clubs give students the opportunity to explore their interests outside of the classroom while building community at the same time. BUA wouldn't be the same community that fosters curiosity and kindness if it wasn't for our head of school, Mr. Kolovos. He truly represents the values our school is about, and he takes the time to get to know each and every student personally. His genuine care shows in the way he remembers names, asks about our lives, as well as the time he chooses to spend with the students. From leading sing alongs at Burgess to waiting outside to give each student a good morning fist bump. His leadership not only inspires us all to be kind and curious, but it strengthens our community as a school. I've shared a little from my perspective, and now I'd like to hand things over to the person who will always take the time to support and encourage us and make BUA feel like home. Please welcome Mr. Kolovos.
Vani, thank you so much for that beautiful and gracious introduction. You did a really good job. Um, I'm so glad to hear that you're having such a good experience so far in school. And also, I was thinking how fitting it is that you're the one who's greeting everybody today, given that every time I see you in the hallway, you pause to say hello. And I really appreciate that and really appreciate your words today. Thank you so much. Now, I know you've got some homework to do probably, so you're free to head off if you'd like to, but thank you for that.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye, Vani. Folks, welcome. We are so glad you're here and grateful that you'd spend some of your Sunday afternoon with us. We know you're all leaving something behind to join us. I'm really excited for you to get to know BUA today through the interactions you'll have with our faculty and students and staff and parents and others. As I think about the process that you all are engaged in, it can be interesting and fun. And at the same time, it can be complicated and it can be hard to distinguish what are some really wonderful options for schools in the Boston market. So the way I thought I'd spend the few minutes we have together today is by telling you all a little bit about the ways I think BUA is different than some of those other options and some of the reasons why I've fallen in love with BUA in hopes that that's helpful to you too as you begin to think about the decisions that you all will make. Now, I have a particular perspective on all this, having attended an excellent independent school as a kid that really changed my life, having led and taught at two others before BUA, and having visited many others as part of accreditation teams. That experience gives me some sense of what makes a great school and also what distinguishes one from another. Now, for me, there's two things that really set BUA apart. One is an unusual culture of kindness. Vani mentioned our outdoor orientation trip where we take all the ninth and 10th graders away to the woods for a few days at the start of the school year. And during a break on the first day we're all together this year, I went down to the lake and noticed two boys sitting at a picnic table playing cards together, two new friends, and also noticed another boy on the periphery of that card game. And one of the boys playing cards sitting at the table looked back, noticed the boy over his left shoulder, and said, "Hey, do you want to come play with us?" Boy says, "Sure." Comes down, sits down. It was this simple, no fuss, easy moment that was really beautiful. Now, I've noticed that boy who was in the periphery. I've noticed him over the last month or so that we've been at school, and I've noticed him smiling more, walking a little taller, and connecting more with friends. And so I pulled him into my office the other day and said, "Hey, I've noticed that seems things seem to be going well. What's going on?" And he said, "Well, yeah, things are good." And I said, "Why do you think that is?" And he said, "Well, people here are just really nice." And then he went on with the rest of his day. There are kind kids at every school. What's different here is how consistent it is and how much it's part of the fabric, and that's not an accident. We regularly turn away lots of kids with perfect grades and perfect scores in the admission process because the most important criterion for us in admission is kindness. The other thing that I really think sets BUA apart is an unusual culture of curiosity. In August, I spent time by Zoom with the parents individually of every new student, getting to know them and through them getting to know their kids. And one mom was telling me about the experience of her daughter in middle school. And this is a bright, capable, curious kid who was beginning to become disengaged from school. And to hear the mom tell it, she said, "Well, my daughter wants to ask questions because she's eager to learn more." And it became evident to her that maybe the teachers just didn't have the time or the energy to meet her where she was at. And she got a sense that her friends, too, and other peers in class really weren't interested in all of her contributions. So she began to withdraw some. So I saw this kid about 2 weeks ago in one of her classes, happened to be walking by with her novel out, annotated, leaning in, smiling, contributing a few times around a table with other kids doing the same thing. And it made me really happy. And it reminds me how unfortunately countercultural this all is in a world that's just so focused on grades and outcomes and test scores and college lists. We've got a school here filled with kids who care about the learning, and we don't take that for granted for a minute. Now, that passion is fanned by remarkable teachers here at BUA, and I'm excited for you to meet our faculty who are going to be on the panel today, who bring not just deep expertise in their subject area, but a deep love for these kids. And it's also fanned by this really unusual connection with BU, where our students get to follow their passions as far as they can go through BU coursework and work in BU labs and other resources here at the university and in the city of Boston. They get this unusual opportunity to turn those passions into research and action. And I want to share just two quick stories with you to illustrate that. One is from one of our seniors from last year, a remarkable girl who came into us with an interest in neuroscience and an interest in neurodiversity. And some of that was based on some volunteer work she had done before and during her time at BUA. Now, during her coursework at BU as a junior and senior, she took coursework related to neuroscience and neurodiversity. And then during her junior STEM research seminar with us here at BUA, she was connected to a neuroscience lab at a local university across the river where she met some folks and ended up doing some research over the summer that turned into her BUA senior thesis, where she studied speech patterns in adults with autism. I saw her presentation. It was fantastic. She's now looking for avenues to publish the paper that she was working on, and she's off at a wonderful college in New England, and where she's continuing that similar work with folks in their neuroscience department, which I will tell you is not what I was doing as a fall in my freshman year of college. I'll tell you one more story from a recent graduate who came into us with a passion for social justice and for visual art. And she enjoyed her art courses here and some art courses at BU. And this is a kid who walked across the BU bridge every day coming to us from Cambridge and noticed on the side of our building a large blank wall. And this kid saw an opportunity to put up a mural. And over her final 3 years with us here at BUA, she got permission, working with us, working with the BU Arts Initiative and with the City of Boston, to put a mural on that wall. She found and hired a muralist. She raised funds. She got volunteers. She designed the mural herself. And now the tens of thousands of people who drive across the BU Bridge every day see the mural that this young person designed and executed. She is now off at a university in New England studying art and industrial design, and she has this beautiful mural in her portfolio. These kids are so ready, and they're so wonderful. And they're the two that I mentioned. They're wonderful. They're not outliers. Our kids come to us with passion and ability, and we are able to channel all the resources of BUA and the mentorship here and the resources at BU in the city to allow the students to take on research and take on these projects at a time when they're in high school, when it really matters to them, and then jump into college so ready to do the next thing, much more so than their peers from other places. And then hopefully through life, carry these passions that will become deeply purposeful to them and sources of deep fulfillment. One final story for you. In August, as I mentioned, in these meetings I have with the parents of all of our new students, I will always ask, was there some moment? What was it that where your student, where your child decided that BUA was for them? And almost always, I hear a story involving an interaction between the prospective student and one of our students. Maybe it's hearing from Vani or her predecessor in the welcome speech, or the interaction with our tour guides, or seeing our kids in class, or seeing some of our student panelists in an open house. And what I hear from parents during those conversations is, the decision became easy because my kid found her people. And that's the phrase we hear over and over again. We hear that phrase too from current students, from alums. This is a place where often for the first time, kids find themselves surrounded by other kids like them, kids who love to read, kids who love to talk about ideas. It's a place for the first time where being smart is cool, and where being kind is the norm, and where they can just be themselves. It is not a great surprise to me that when I talk to our alums, they often mention that their best friends in life, the people in their weddings, are the friends that they made when they were here at BUA. I hope that this has been helpful to you. I wish you luck in your process, and I look forward to getting to know all of you through the admission process. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Associate Head of School, Dr. Rosemary White, who will tell you more about our program.
Thank you for that introduction, Chris. As Chris said, my name is Dr. Rosemary White. I'm the Associate Head of School at BUA. I've also taught chemistry, and I am currently an 11th and 12th grade advisor, as well as a senior thesis advisor. This is my 16th year at BUA, and I'm thrilled to join you this afternoon to tell you about our academic program. Let me pull up my slides. All right. In your high school search, you're probably looking at some of our peer schools, and you're very fortunate to have many great options to choose from. What truly sets BUA apart, though, is the combination of the warm, close-knit environment within the academy building, our students' genuine love of learning, and our connection to Boston University. Despite our unique connection with BU, Boston University Academy is not an early college. Our students are first and foremost high school students who also happen to take college courses at a world-class university. They benefit from the many educational opportunities at BU while still fully immersing themselves in a high school experience. Our building at One University Road is our students' home base for all 4 years at BUA. First, as 9th and 10th graders, where they take most of their classes at the academy, and then as upperclassmen when they expand their horizons to take university courses across the broader BU campus. In the past 5 years, our students have taken a combined 2,590 classes at BU, representing 478 unique course offerings in 67 different departments and interdisciplinary programs. Our partnership with Boston University opens up boundless connections and opportunities and allows our students to pursue their passions as far as they can take them. Where else could you choose between Introduction to Global Health, Cognitive Neurology, masterpieces of Japanese literature, linear algebra, and thousands of other electives? These are all actual BU courses that our students have taken in recent years. BUA is a school with award-winning Model UN and robotics teams, and more than 50 student clubs, including everything from chess team, literary magazine, and sustainability club, to the less common knitting and fiber arts club, bio builders, and women's empowerment group. We also offer 15 interscholastic and recreational sports. BUA is a school whose soccer team's home turf is BU's Nickerson Field, a school whose students learn laser and water jet cutting and 3D printing at BU's Engineering and Product Innovation Center, whose spring concert and commencement take place at the state-of-the-art Psy Performance Center, and whose physical education program includes more than a dozen options at BU's 270,000 square foot fitness and recreation center. How many high schools, let alone a small school like BUA, can offer their students the opportunity to take PE classes like aerial dance, yoga, futsal, squash, and rock climbing? You're just beginning to apply to high school, so you're probably not thinking about college just yet, which is a good thing. But here is something to consider. BUA students in good standing are ensured admission to most of Boston University's four-year undergraduate programs with a financial aid package that meets 100% of their demonstrated need. Whether our seniors decide to stay at BU or go to a college or university across the country or around the world, the fact that they start the college application process already knowing that they will be admitted to a selective, prestigious university gives them a huge advantage. As you can see here on our 3-year matriculation list, BUA graduates attend a wide variety of colleges and universities across the country and around the world. But enough about college. Let's get back to BUA, which is why you're all here today. Here is a snapshot of our curriculum. At BUA, we have a distinctive academic program combining liberal arts coursework with classes at Boston University. We offer small discussion-based classes with an average class size of about 12 students. We have an integrated, classically based, globally focused humanities program encompassing our English, history, and language classes. As you look over the curriculum, a couple of items to note. Math placement. It's based on readiness and an entry placement test, not on grade level. Every year we'll have entering students in all levels of math taught at BUA from algebra to calculus. The first 3 levels of BUA math courses are custom built by our faculty for BUA students. Each course is organized around problem sets rather than textbooks, which helps students build confidence as problem solvers. The courses also integrate math topics from across math disciplines so that students can see the connections between them. In addition to our Latin and Greek requirement, students have the option to take a modern language course outside of our required curriculum. And then in the 10th grade, students in an advanced level of a modern language can apply to take a BU language course instead of Latin or Ancient Greek. As you can see in the 3rd column, in the 11th grade, this is where students start to take Boston University courses. Most BUA juniors continue with a 3rd year of science at BU. Many will take physics, but students can select BU courses in disciplines including anthropology, sociology, earth and environmental science, and more. Juniors may also choose from 27 different modern languages. Neither of these courses are required, though. Some of our students will pursue computer science, economics, or advanced levels of Latin in their junior year. And then in 12th grade, there are really only two requirements, English and senior thesis. For their other senior year courses, students can choose from thousands of BU electives. BUA students typically take between 6 and 12 Boston University courses as part of their BUA experience. All BUA students are required to write a senior thesis. In this project, students work with both a BUA advisor and a BU professor to explore a topic of interest. This type of opportunity for in-depth research guided by an expert in their chosen field is not one that many high school students will experience. And as you can tell from some of these recent thesis titles, our students engage in and produce extraordinarily impressive work. I hope this overview has given you a glimpse into life at BUA and into the unique facets of our hybrid curriculum. I also hope it's given you a window into the wide array of interests and perspectives of our students, and also the incredible breadth of opportunities available to them. The chance to chart and follow your own academic path is a defining feature of BUA and something that sets our school apart. You will have ample opportunity to hear directly from teachers and students this afternoon and to learn more about our program. But first, I would love to introduce BUA parent Sylvia Zerlo, parent of Katie, a current sophomore. Sylvia, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. White. Welcome, everybody. As Dr. White said, my name is Sylvia Zerlo, and my daughter Katie is in her sophomore year at BUA, having started as a freshman. Prior to BUA, she attended Derby Academy in Hingham. When I was in your shoes 2 years ago, we had already been through this process once, because our older daughter is currently a senior at one of the more traditional prep schools with a classic suburban campus, a mix of day and boarding students, and a large student body. So we were familiar with that model and wanted to know more about the character of BUA and what made it different. BUA is a typical high school in many respects. It's in a very traditional building and has all the things that high school students love. Dances with excellent themes, next week's homecoming dance is Under the Stars. Sports games, the small twist of playing on Nickerson Field, which is an unbelievable experience. Amazing plays, orchestra productions, school trips abroad and around the city, and tons of leadership opportunities through the student council, sports teams, and the clubs. And parents, like myself, feel so connected to the school, whether it's showing teachers our appreciation through lunches, or attending the kids' events, or being together and joining in walks, coffees, and grade-specific get-togethers. The school does a phenomenal job of communicating with the families, and the weekly updates from Mr. Kolovos are as inspiring as they are informative. And finally, the students' advisors are always available to check in as often as you need to. You never feel like you cannot ask for something you or your child might need. But for us, what makes BUA really stand out is that learning is cherished and each student is known and valued. Mr. Kolovos, as you've heard, meets with every family throughout the month of August to get to know them. And as Vani mentioned, he does stand at the door every morning to greet them by their names. And something you hear at BUA repeatedly is that nothing daunts a scholar. And I hoped that this would apply to Katie eventually. And now that we have a year behind us, I realize that it's becoming a reality, since the teachers really raised the bar because they believe in the students, and the students support each other to reach that bar. Many of the teachers have a master's degree or PhD in their respective fields and have taught at university. Last year, for example, Katie's math teacher was a previous recipient of Harvard's Certificate of Distinction in Teaching multiple times. She was a freshman, and this was her teacher, and that is not available anywhere else. In biology, her teacher employed a flipped classroom approach where the students learned the material through homework assignments and then applied those concepts through hands-on experiments in the classroom to gain more in-depth knowledge. In history, they read original texts, and in English, there is a focus on high-level analysis and high-level vocabulary. So something incredible happens to these kids as they tackle their assignments. They realize that their teachers have the utmost confidence in them, and so they gain confidence in themselves. And as a result, they know there are no limits for them. And as Dr. White mentioned, if you're ready for calculus, take calculus. And if you're more comfortable in algebra, you will thrive in algebra. If you excel at languages and you're ready to take college level Spanish, you can do that. And you can also join in any club that you are interested in. And if you want to start a club, go for it. And it's fun to see how these kids channel their interests. Last year, for example, Katie and her friends started the Slavic Culture Club. And this year during the club fair, a lot of kids joined. And I said to Katie, I didn't realize there were so many kids of Slavic origins. And she said, there aren't. They just want to learn about different cultures. The students really do love to learn and work well together, and they share their work product. I also remember Katie telling me last year that she read her friends' essays and was amazed at the quality of the writing. But it didn't intimidate her. On the contrary, it showed her what was possible. She was excited at the prospect of learning to write like that. That respect and admiration of her classmates' abilities hasn't left her. Finally, being at BUA also gives the kids a chance to learn some soft skills. They probably already have a healthy respect for authority, but they continue to develop a deep respect for their teachers, the classroom setting, and their fellow students. They are asked to engage in debate, exchange ideas, and listen closely and respectfully to the ideas of others. They also learn to become independent. They will definitely miss the bus or the T or will get stuck in traffic, but they'll need to figure out how to manage being late. And I'll let you in on a secret. There's a lot of leeway with tardiness because everyone is dealing with the commute, even the teachers. But they learn to allocate extra time and they learn to manage their time with the responsibilities of their after-school sports or activities and homework, and most importantly, fun with their friends. BUA is a jewel of a community where there's a focus on reasoning, problem solving, and respectful debate, and that's stitched into the fabric. Whatever love of learning they have coming into the school, it's amplified, not subdued. So I would encourage you to throw your hat into the ring because there is no school like it. So with that, I would like to introduce Nastran Hakimi, who is the Assistant Head of School for Enrollment and Advancement. She is also Katie's advisor. And the incredible warm smile and positive attitude that you're about to see will have a chance to experience during this admission cycle. It is genuine and just yet another testament to the superb nature of BUA. Ms. Hakimi?
Thank you so much, Sylvia. That was lovely, and you're so kind. We appreciate it, and it's truly my pleasure to be Katie's advisor and have the opportunity to work with this family as well as so many other amazing families here at BUA. So hello, everyone. Welcome. As Sylvia kindly said, my name is Nastran Hakimi, and I'm the Assistant Head of School for Enrollment and Advancement, as well as a 9th and 10th grade advisor here at BUA. I also chair our Financial Aid Committee. This is the start of my 13th year at the school, and I feel privileged to have the opportunity to introduce families to our community during the admission process, and then build relationships with students and parents during their time at the academy. In our office, we really pride ourselves on getting to know our applicants, and more importantly, we want to provide opportunities for you to get to know us. Whether this is the first time you're exploring BUA or your 5th open house, we hope to continuously offer new ways for you to feel the warmth of our community. And we are so excited to get to know your family this fall. If you are applying for entry in September of 2026 and have yet to book your official visit, I'd encourage you to book your virtual information session or in-person tour, as well as your interview, which are required components of the admission process. Our visit calendars have filled up quickly, and we would be happy to work with you to find a time that is convenient for your family, as we know that you're all navigating so many different processes, and the process can feel challenging at times. But we're here for you. And if you do have questions, we'd encourage you to pop into our admission breakout room after this main session, and we'd be happy to help you with that. People often ask us what we're looking for in our applicants. The answer is simple and always the same. So if you've seen me speak on other panels, you've certainly heard me say this before. We are looking for two things. The first is students that are curious, that love learning and want to be challenged in the classroom. And the second, but just as important to us, as Mr. Kolovos said earlier on, we are looking for students that are kind, not just polite in their interviews, but genuinely kind kids that are respectful of one another and their community. If you come on a tour of campus, and we hope you will, you'll hear our admission ambassadors, who are 11th and 12th graders, and all of their tours by telling you why they specifically chose to enroll at BUA. My favorite part of the day is lurking outside of my office doors. My office is right outside of the main lobby, and listening to this wrap up. Just this week, one of our seniors shared that she just knew that she wanted to come to BUA after her tour of the school. She gushed, as she said, in quotes, "It sounds cliche, but I really love the academics and community here. Everyone has their own interests and passions, and being around that energy inspires me. I felt that when I came to visit, and I can attest that it's true now that I've been a student here." She shared with the guests that day that she had left her tour of BUA and proclaimed to her mother that she said, "I don't want to look at any other options. I love BUA and I need to come here." I tell this story not to imply that we expect you to not want to look at other schools. In fact, we think that's a really healthy part of the search process. Rather, I share this to highlight the importance of getting to know the programs you're exploring and to immerse yourself in the communities as much as possible, especially when you have opportunities to really get to know the students there, as they are the heart and soul of our programs. It's our hope that you'll leave your visit at BUA with the same conviction that this student did. Families will frequently consider BUA because they are guaranteed to be academically challenged, the teachers are dynamic, the students are kind, and being part of Boston University offers incredible opportunities they wouldn't have at any other school. But students enroll because of visits, like the one that I just described to all of you. And we hope that you'll have the chance to experience the dynamism of our community for yourselves. So we are eager and cannot wait to meet all of you. I could gush all day about how amazing the students are, but I would rather show you. In just a moment, our student panelists are going to join me on screen. And I welcome all of you to use the Q&A chat box at the bottom center of your Zoom screens to submit questions for them. Thank you to everyone who has been submitting questions throughout this session and those of you who submitted prior. The students are the best resource for all of you, and they are so excited to share more about what it means to them to be a BUAer. And we are going to try to work through as many of the questions submitted as possible. If we don't get to your question, we would be happy to follow up with you afterwards, but we are eager to start. So student panelists, please join me on screen. Hi, friends. All right. Hey, this is my favorite part. So I'm joined today by students from different grades here at BUA who are excited to share more about their experiences. So before we jump in, I'm going to ask each of my panelists to introduce themselves by sharing their name, what grade they're in, what town they're from, where they went to middle school before BUA, and any clubs and activities that they're currently involved in. So Betty, can I ask you to kick us off?
Hi, my name is Betsy, and I'm a senior here at BUA. I live in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and before coming to BUA, I went to Cambridge Montessori School. Some things I'm involved in here at BUA are the girls' soccer and basketball teams, go Terriers, and student council and book club.
Thanks, Betty. Harris?
Hi, everybody. I'm Harris. I'm a junior here at BUA and I live in Arlington. Before BUA, I went to Leslie Ellis School, which is also in Arlington. And here at BUA, like Betty, I'm also involved in student council. I'm a junior class rep, as well as I'm also involved in I'm a member of the cross country team and our JV basketball team. I'm also a member of our audition only low voice a cappella group, which is really, really fun. And I'm a member of Drama Club, which does like the musicals and the plays here at the school.
Thank you so much, Harris. Savannah?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Savannah. I'm a sophomore. I live in Wellesley, and before coming to BUA, I went to the River School. At BUA, I'm also on the basketball and soccer team with Betsy. I'm involved in student council as well and book club. And I also play violin in an orchestra.
Thanks, Savannah. Ethan?
Hi everyone, I'm Ethan. So I'm currently a freshman at BUA, so I'm in ninth grade. I live in Winchester, and my middle school I went to the River School, same as Savannah. But after that I went to Winchester High School for 1 year as well. For clubs and activities, right now I'm in robotics club, student council. I play the trombone as well, and I'm in fall crew too.
Thank you so much, Ethan. And last but not least, Alvar?
Hello, my name's Alvar. Right now I'm in ninth grade, just like Ethan. I live in Cambridge and I used to go to the Shady Hill School, also in Cambridge. And some of the clubs I'm involved in, I also run for the cross country team and I'm in the art club, history club, and the book club.
Thank you, Alvar. And before we jump into all of the questions, I'm actually going to start with a question that came through beforehand in the chat. And I'm going to go through and ask all of our panelists to answer. So if you could just share what your favorite class has been during your time at BUA and a quick reason why, that would be great. So Betty, can you kick us off?
Yeah, my favorite BUA class has probably been junior year English with Miss Kelly. She's a really outstanding teacher. The discussions were super engaging. Every book we read was really fun, and I always look forward to the class. My favorite BU class is this semester. I'm taking Sociology of Race and Ethnicity at BU. And for a class at 9:30 in the morning, she's so passionate and energetic. The classes are so dynamic, and everyone is really focused and excited to learn. So I have a great time in that.
Thanks, Betty. Harris?
Yeah, my favorite BUA class I've taken, I think, would have to be chorus. If anybody follows the BUA Instagram, they might have seen me talking about it a little while ago. But I really enjoyed it because Dr. Abagana's ability to just always get the most out of us and help us do hard things, but also, support us in getting there, really makes chorus both a fun environment and an environment where I feel like I've improved in my own singing ability a lot. So it's a really fun class. In terms of BU, I've only taken 2 BU classes so far, but my favorite is Psychology 101. Like Betty, I have a very engaging professor, which makes the material super interesting to learn about.
Thanks, Harris. Savannah?
Yeah, so I would say my favorite BUA class was freshman biology. We used a flipped classroom, so you would do videos and readings on the subjects, and then you'd come in and discuss it and ask any questions you have in class. And the teacher, Dr. K, she's wonderful, and great about asking or answering any questions you have. So,
Thanks, Savannah. Ethan?
Yeah, to be honest, I love all my classes. I think the teachers are great, especially coming from my old school. I think it's a huge change. All classes are very engaging, but I'd say my favorite has to be Mrs. Brown's history class, just because of all like the discussion aspect. Everyone gets to participate. So yeah.
Thanks, Ethan. I love that. And Alvar?
Well, I think my favorite class right now is probably English. We've just started reading the Odyssey, and after finishing the Iliad in history class, I really like how we moved on to that book. We're using some Harkness style discussions right now, and I think it really allows the class to thrive and to talk about really interesting things in the novel.
Thanks, Alvar. Okay, I'm going to start working through the questions in the chat. So we had a few questions asking why you chose to come to BUA. So I'm going to ask Harris to start us off, and then I'll ask Savannah and Ethan to share a little bit as well. Harris?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of things that I really liked about BUA sort of in the admissions process or when I was searching for a high school. But I think the biggest one to me was that everybody at BUA on my tours and in these kind of info sessions always seemed very engaged in the learning process, both in the material and also in like trying new things, learning deeply about things. And so that was really one of the draws of BUA was for me was this deep interest and passion by the students in learning because that's something I like to think that I have, and so it was great to find a community of people who are sort of likewise minded. And now that I'm here, I really do feel like those people I heard about are real. You know, that is really what BUA students are like, and so it's great to have that as a school community.
Thank you so much, Harris. I'm glad to hear that. Savannah?
Yeah, so like Harris, there's so many reasons. I was trying to come up with just one, but I think I'm going to talk about two. First was obviously all the students are just so kind. And although it's obviously a very competitive school and academically rigorous, students really help push each other towards getting better and working together, studying for tests or peer editing or whatever it is, which I think is just a really great like classroom dynamic. And then also the teachers are so amazing because they're all so they obviously are they know a lot about the subject they're teaching. They have PhDs and doctorates. But also they're really willing to go on tangents with you. And if you have random questions, they're willing to discuss that with you. And they're not just there to cover what the class is talking about, but anything you want to talk about.
Thank you so much, Savannah. And Ethan?
Just like everyone before me, I'm gonna say the same thing. I have a lot of reasons why I chose BUA, but I think the main thing is definitely kindness. Mr. Clovis mentioned earlier that like everyone has found their people at BUA, and I really agree. When I took the first tour, when I was researching online, I was like, hey, yeah, I think I found my people. So the kindness, the community, I think all those values helped me find my people.
Thank you, Ethan. I'll just chime in to say that this feels selfish, but I love listening to these panels because I got to know these students when they were going through the admission process, and it's so rewarding to hear what they have to say now. So if you hear me smiling and bobbling my head, if you see that, you'll know it's because this is just warming my heart. Okay, there are a lot of questions in the chat about how it works to take BU classes, why that is exciting for students when they're here at BUA, and what that means about community in high school. So I'm trying to synthesize a bunch of questions so we get to as many of them as possible. Here at BUA, typically students don't start taking classes at BU until their junior year. So most of them are only taking classes at BUA in 9th and 10th grade. So I'm going to ask Betty as a senior to start us off by sharing a little bit about the process, what drew her to that, and what that has been like. And then I'll ask Harris as a junior to share a little bit about it as well.
I would say that taking BU classes is just very exciting, like just as a prospect. My whole grade was looking forward to it. We like discuss what classes are you thinking of taking? And it's just a very engaging way to explore your interests. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to take. I was looking at psychology like Harris, some medical ethics classes, and I think it just very much reflects like the wide range of students' interests. So I feel like that's the best part of the agreement. Like we get to explore every part of our academic like desires to learn about. So it's really fun to just have such a wide range of classes available to us. I think also with the BU classes, like you end up taking a lot of them with your BUA friends. So it doesn't feel like you're just going to BU classes and leaving all your VA classes behind. There's still very much connections, and a lot of the time you'll sign up for a BU class and not even realize it, but there's like 3 other BUA students in the same exact class as you, so you'll kind of discover them along the way. So I think just it's very exciting to kind of reach out of your comfort zone and try all these new classes, and I think like everyone looks forward to it.
Thanks, Betty. How about you, Harris?
Yeah, so for me, one of the things I was looking forward to about, excuse me, taking taking BU classes, was this ability to sort of explore like a more specific interest. Like I've always had an interest in science, maybe not my main interest, but I find science very interesting. But I also find people and dynamics, what sort of the reasons why people do things interesting. So I was able to combine sort of my interest in science and this interest in the individual in taking a psychology course. So I think that's also another great thing about taking BU classes, is that you can sort of take almost a more specific class, maybe to more specifically what you're interested in. And I think it's also great that we don't get to take them into most students until junior year, because this allows us to figure out, what we're interested in our freshman and sophomore years. Talking about like preserving community, I think oftentimes there can be a worry, sometimes even among students who are signing up for BU classes, that it might be hard to keep in touch with the BU community. But this really isn't true at all. Outside of my BU classes, I'm almost always in the physical BU building, interacting with my BUA friends. And clubs and sports actually provide a really great opportunity for me to interact with students in different grades or people I might not otherwise meet, and also sort of center me in the BUA building. So like I said, as soon as I'm done with class, I usually come back and I'm hanging out with friends, in some of our common spaces here in the building.
Thank you, Harris. I can attest to that. Harris is an amazing tour guide this year and spends a lot of time in the admissions suite. So we like to think it's for more than just the candy that we put out in there. Thank you, guys. Okay, there were quite a few questions about the step up in academic rigor between middle school and high school. And folks say, they've heard that BUA is very academically rigorous. You all have talked about that as being one of the reasons why you were attracted to the school. But folks might be, rightfully so, feeling a little bit nervous about that and what that means. So I'm hoping that Alvar and Ethan, as the newest members of our community, as 9th graders this year, can share a little bit about what that step up has looked like so far. So Alvar, can you kick it off for us?
Yeah, I too, when I was applying, was kind of between like the scared and excited part. Both of this, I was really looking forward to some of the harder classes, but a lot of the people had talked about a lot of hours of homework at the time. But right now, it's been a pretty good step in. We started the year very calm. A lot of the teachers were giving like more simple or less homework, and bit by bit we've been stepping in, but all of the teachers are there to help you, to talk with you. There's also for per class per semester, I think you get a 2-day like free homework, no homework if you need, like, if something happens. So there's a lot of resources to help you if you're having a bit of trouble, but I think really it's quite eased in. So I haven't felt a very large step from my previous school.
Thanks, Alvar. And how about you, Ethan?
Yeah, 100% agree with Alvar. It's very a little bit like easy at the start, and then you kind of step in as it more and more. There's tons of support. You have your advisor, which you can go to, and the teachers are some of the best I've ever had. They're very open and they're willing to talk with you. And if you need extra help, you can always go to them. They have office hours. They're always willing to help you. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Okay, we had quite a few questions about our arts offerings at BUA. So I'm going to let each of the students discuss a little bit about their involvement, but I'll just start by saying that arts are built into all of our student schedules in 9th and 10th grade, and students can choose between visual and digital arts, drama, chorus, jazz band, and chamber ensemble. In 10th grade, they can opt to take the more advanced version of the same class they took in 9th grade, or switch and try something new. And then we have different electives and independent studies offered for upperclassmen. They're not required, but many students do opt to engage in them. We do have an arts wing you'll get to see on your tour here at BUA. And if you're super into a couple different arts, we also offer arts as extracurriculars, which I'm sure some of our students here will speak to as well. So I'm hoping that Savannah can start us off by talking about music, and then Harris will take on theater, and Alvar will share a little bit more about visual arts.
Yeah, sure. So like I said earlier, I play violin. I'm in our school orchestra. I remember coming into BUA, definitely like our performing arts program was something I was curious about because I hadn't really heard like whether it was challenging, because obviously we're a very academically focused school. But on my revisit day, I sat in on an orchestra session, and I realized that we definitely are musically, like a musical school too. Our orchestra conductor, Dr. A, is incredible. He's so knowledgeable. And in addition to the electives, which is either like orchestra, or chorus, or theater, or whatever you want to do. There are also some smaller student-run groups. So, for example, I was part of a quartet last year, and I know there is Vox Celli and Polytropos, which Harris might be able to talk more about, obviously, as well as Swamp Cats and some other musical groups outside of classes that you can participate in.
Awesome, thank you. And Harris, Savannah queued that up for you perfectly.
Yeah. So to mention Polytropos and Vox Celli that Savannah was talking about, excuse me, we have some extracurricular arts opportunities here at BUA. Vox Celli is our audition only high voice ensemble, and Polytropos is our audition only low voice ensemble. We also have the Swamp Cats, which is our audition only jazz band. These are really great excuse me. These are really great opportunities to pursue music outside of school. These groups, because they're outside of school, can be a little bit more focused, and they're usually full of really dedicated people. So they produce some really great results. Shifting to talking about theater a little bit, I'm involved with the theater here at BUA. I didn't take drama as a class as an underclassman, but my freshman year and this year, I did the musical. It was a really great way for me to meet people in different grades. That's one thing about BUA clubs and activities is it's a great way to meet all sorts of new people. As I was mentioning, we have drama class, which underclassmen can take, but we also have drama club, which puts on our winter play and our spring musical. Our winter play this year, I think, is going to be Radium Girls, and I think it's kind of TBD what the musical is going to be.
Thank you so much. And Alvar?
Right now, I'm doing the visual art, like drawing/painting class for the first year. We've started with like kind of some abstract like line drawing just to get like the hand motions in, and we're moving from like contour lines into like more shading and gradients. But I've really been loving it. There's a lot more time dedicated to art at BUA than at my old school, and I'm loving to have an opportunity to really pursue a passion of mine. I'm also in the art club, which meets every 2 weeks on Friday activity block. And the leaders, which are, I think, 3 seniors, always bring a different type of artistic material that we kind of experiment with. Last week, I think we did gouache as a paint, and we were just there for 45 minutes. They had some music on, we could all just like chat, and it's a really nice space to kind of share your art with others, try out some new things, and it's really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Alvar. We're getting towards the end of the student panel, but there's so many questions. I want to try to get to a few more. There were a bunch of different questions about sports at BUA. So I'm hoping Betty can share a little bit about her experience and how it works, and that Ethan can chime in as well.
I really like the way that sports are run at BUA. There's kind of a varying level of commitment. You could either commit to varsity, which means you're going to attend all of the practices during the week and all the games, or you could do club, which means you go to maybe 1 or 2 practices during the week, and you're not really ensuring yourself for any of the games. That's more of just wanting to show up and have fun. I think just sports are a great time. It's a lot of the time like it's students like coming together and motivating one another. Oh, we're gonna join the soccer team or the basketball team or the volleyball team, and kind of exciting one another. And then within the team, the energy is very good. It's like motivating and uplifting. And like with Savannah, we play soccer together. So every week before the games, we'll write like hype up letters. So we'll buy candy and like write a nice note. It's like, you got this, like you're gonna crush the game. So I think just the way that the sports are run, they're very motivating and encouraging people to join, no matter what your level is. There's like, you embrace all the levels of expertise and just a good time.
Thanks, Betty. Ethan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, going off of that, so I just want to clarify, sports, you don't have to do a sport, so sports aren't required. But also if you do not choose to do a sport, which I encourage you to do, there's also PE electives as well. So you can choose from numerous different PE electives. Right now I'm taking fall crew, and I think this really gives you like a big insight into, different sports that you might not have tried before. Like right now, for example, I love crew so much that I'm probably gonna try to do it in the spring as well. So
I love that, Ethan. I think it's worth sharing as well that we each year have a handful of students that choose BUA because they're really attracted to the academic pieces and our community. But we think the only school in our area that doesn't have an after-school sports requirement. So they're actually able to come here and immerse themselves in our community, but they're also able to pursue a sport they've already been playing or an extracurricular at a pretty high level outside of school. So we do have those folks here as well and can cater to that. We also often will have students try a sport for the first time that they've never played before, which is really exciting too. Okay, last but not least, I always end my sessions by asking my panelists to share a piece of advice they have for applicants that are joining us today. So I'm going to start with Alvar, and then we'll go through all of the panelists.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing, personally, is to just be yourself. When you're applying, everybody's really interesting here. And as I meet my classmates, everyone is here because of a different thing that they are passionate about that really makes them themselves. And everybody in all of my classes is deeply interesting, someone I want to talk to about all of the things I do. So while you're applying, be yourself, show who you are, and that's really one of the most interesting things about you.
Thank you, Alvar. Ethan.
yeah, going off of that, I think being you is definitely really important. And I think that's why, I encourage you to take a tour. And when you're taking a tour, try to imagine yourself at BUA. Try to imagine yourself, in the classes, in the, different activities, and see if you really fit in. And if you do fit in, I encourage you to apply. That's my advice.
Thank you, Ethan. Savannah.
Yeah, my advice is just in general for going into high school, whether you're going to come to BUA or another school, join as many like clubs and activities as you can, even if it's something that's new or you're not sure if you're going to be interested in. I know at BUA we have a club fair at the beginning of the year where all the clubs talk about their club and kind of get new members to join. And I think last year I joined like 12 clubs, I'm pretty sure. And even though I didn't end up being a regular member of each one, I met so many new people through that and made some really good friends from doing that.
I love that. Harris?
Yeah, my piece of advice is a little more focused on the application itself, but I think sometimes students, I know I did this, might have a tendency to sort of only want to show or to try and highlight the sort of big achievements, whether that's winning your middle school science fair or, placing high in some foreign language competition or something like that. But I think it's also just important to highlight the small moments that sort of demonstrate your character. So I know for me, I wrote one of my applications, one of my application questions. I don't remember the specific prompt, but I wrote it about how I played trombone with my uncle. That's not some big, moment, but it really helped demonstrate my character, and helped show why I thought I was a good fit for the school. So focus on the small things as well as the big achievements in your application.
He's right. We really enjoyed that. Betty?
That was all great advice. I think I would say just trust the process. At the end of the day, you're gonna end up somewhere that's right for you, and it's kind of magical, but it's gonna work. Don't worry. And I wouldn't get too bogged down in like the stress of it. Just like if you put your all into it, then like there's no regrets. Just do what you can, and you'll end up with what's right for you.
Thank you so much. All great advice. Apologies for anyone whose questions we didn't get to. We are going to try to follow up with you after, but we are about to put up a screen so that you can see the email addresses of our amazing student panelists that joined us today. Please feel free to reach out to them if you had specific questions for one of them, and they'd be happy to get back to you. If they don't know the answer, they can always loop in the admission team. Otherwise, I just want to give some directions on what's happening next. I'm about to put a link in the chat to a microsite we created for all of you. It was in the email that we shared out earlier today as well. You'll see that we are going to be hosting a few different panels right now, and we want you to choose your own adventure to learn more about what you're excited about. So at 1:35 in 2 minutes, these sessions will kick off. We'll be hosting a faculty panel, a current parent panel, a panel about visual and performing arts, another about student life and athletics. The admission team will be hosting their own Zoom room, and there'll be a financial aid one as well. Those sessions will just be 25 minutes. At 2 p.m., we'll switch so you can choose to see a different one. So you can hear from 2 different groups. Hopefully that will help to answer some of the questions that were still pending. I'm going to put the link again in the chat for folks. Hopefully you can view that. But again, it's in the email that we shared out if you lose it between the first and second session. Those folks are already in their Zoom meeting rooms waiting for all of you. So we encourage you to log off and join those Zoom meeting rooms now. Thank you so much for joining us. We cannot wait to host you on campus. And thank you to my amazing student panelists as well. I'm hopping over to the parent panel now, so I'll see some of you there. Thanks, folks. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.